I love
Hello, Miss.
These
These are the whispers of the universe.
It's such an invitation. You've got to like lean in to hear it. Hello, everybody. Welcome, Miss
Hi,
Eena.
everyone. Thank you. Welcome, Miss Sarah.
How you be today?
Excited.
Excited. Well, that fits perfectly with our conversation because we wanted to, I guess, go over what has occurred for us when we talk Access Foundation. Because this
Yep.
is a class, we had a bit of a catch up the other day, and we just really got the recognition that because it's one of, I guess, the primary classes that we get when we start with the Access tools, we learn the points of the Access bars, and then when we want to seek more and kind of dive into the tools a little bit deeper, we go to a foundation class, and then potentially that's where some of us leave it, and some of us then go on and choose other classes, and the foundation kind of gets shoved off to the side a little bit, and we're like, hold on, that's not really the spot for the foundation. Like, it actually really excites us, right? So
Yep.
yeah, that's what we kind of wanted to have a conversation about today, was to be like, hold on a second, let's just put the foundation back in the spotlight, and what has this changed for us, and yeah, where can we go to from here with those tools that seem so, like, I don't know, foundational, basically, and we're like, what else, what more, but it's actually such a fun playground when you allow it to be. So what's the foundation for you?
Well, one of the things that this is so exciting because we were like as you mentioned, we were talking with a bunch of people and our team, and we were all looking at like what was it for us to attend the foundation, and for like some it was like, oh, it's just a step to the next step, and for the others it was like scary, and for some it was like killer, could have killed the whole world. For me it was really interesting though, and that I've seen repeatedly over and over again for people with foundation, is that it's sort of like we're willing to look at everything. Like it covers every topic, everything that you can think of under the sun and beyond. And so you can turn all the leaves and all the pages and all the rocks and find everything that actually, and what you do find while turning them is more of you,
100%.
beyond everywhere that you're making yourself wrong or trying to get it right. And it totally, and one of the things invariably occurs is that it creates a lightness where you have a sense of, like, I just remember I was just smiling more without any reason. I had no reason. And I was just lightness, and I wanted to, like, life seemed like a party. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And that sort of gets created with every foundation. And some foundations like pique you more, like poke you, and some sort of just but it's all based on where you are at and what you're asking for, and that's what sort of just like how it comes together. And the people who come together and that what gets created is just, yep.
Amazing, Kate, and that's what I love about it, because every doesn't matter whether you take it once, twice, 10 times, every single class is just, it's not going to be the same. Like, it is, that's what I really love about when you come together in an access class, is like, it doesn't matter how many times you quote unquote take a class, it's never the same, because it really is about what you're looking at in your life at that point in time, the other beings that are in the room with you, the other bodies that are in the room with you, and everything that's being facilitated in that space, whether like in the last kind of 12, 18 months we've done that online, or whether you're able to join in a physical live class, like they're all just so different. And I love what you said about it really covers everything. I mean, there's stuff on relationships, there's stuff on money, there's stuff on bodies, and for me and my first experience of bars, I was, foundation, I was that person that was like, oh my God, I don't know who I am. This is really clunky and uncomfortable, and my awareness has got big, and now I don't feel well in my body. Like, it was just this kind of like, who am I? What am I? What's just happened? And
Yeah.
it really wasn't that long after that I took my second foundation. I was only like maybe 3 or 4 months in between my first and my second. And it was like almost like that first one was just the biggest pile of poo that could be scooped out of the way. And that's why I just was so discombobulated. And then the second one was like, oh, okay. Like it's like everything could just land a little bit and start to unfold a little bit more gently, or there was just so much more ease available in my world from getting a second dose so soon, so to speak, you know?
Yeah. Yep. And I love that, like, you came up with this title, the title for this conversation today, which is that, that's what excites me.
That's what excites me. Yeah.
That's what excites me. And I get like, yeah, that was like, so what is that for you? Like, what we want, like, we wanted to explore that as a possibility as well. Like, whether we would love to have you on the foundation, but whether you come for the foundation or not, what is it that, like, for me, it was starting to discover what actually is true for me, like what excites me. So what's that for you?
Wow. It's so interesting because it's been 3 years now since I started using the Access tools. And I think what you touched on there, that you just ended up having so much more joy in your world, like where I've been able to navigate things that would otherwise throw me off course and send me into a spin for, could be hours, could be days, could be weeks. You know, I've had some pretty, what I would say, big things in my life that was my experience, that you'd be like, oh my God, this is huge. I tend to pull the rug from under my feet quite a lot and like make myself kind of like, this is what we're doing now. Okay. And what I've done through using the tools is like, that is what excites me. It's like those acknowledgements of going, oh, well, hold on a second. Like this doesn't have to take the wind out of my sails, so to speak. It's like, what actually is available here? And I mean, I guess that's really being pushed to the forefront within like the world. We've experienced some quite dramatic change and how we're showing up in our lives. And for me, I've really gone from the extremes, I guess, at the start of this year, and being in an area of Australia that it was like quite up in everyone's world, and there was lots of rules and restrictions from a very physical, this reality point of view. And the moment I ventured into a space where I let the tools do the work and I started engaging them, and it allowed that mindset shift and allowed my body to kind of catch up with what was going on. It was like there all of a sudden was space and there was ease and there was joy again. And so, I mean, that's what excites me, because life just doesn't have to be hard. It really is a choice. And I found that so annoying. Like that was so infuriating for me when I'm just like, aren't you seeing what's happening in the world? This is so crazy, right? And like, but I was doing so much resistance and reaction that's all that was available to me. And then the moment I could like allow myself to unwind a little bit and create the space through using the tools, like, oh, okay, like what else is actually possible here? I can. So that's, yeah, that I guess is something that does excite me. It's just like that, the realization that we be magic and that it really is truly available to us. So what is that for you? I'm curious to hear your take on that.
What you just said as well, like there's so many bits over there that you start realizing that's true for you. It's like, it seems like this sort of a grump, but it's like that ease that you know is possible, that constant change that you know is possible, that we constantly feel like stuck in, you know, as if anyone listening has felt like cornered into a situation, into a place where they feel hard to get out of. And that's so much of like not, that's just a choice away. Like it's not a mountain that you need to get over. It's just a choice away. And that constant constant change. Like for me, it was that there were so many things. Like for the first time I heard, for me it was like, oh my goodness, finally someone is speaking my language. Like of things that I've always known possible, but felt so wrong about. Like even not wanting to eat meals at the same time of the day every day. Like as simple as that. But the crux of it is that willingness to actually be present in every 10 seconds. Like that, for me, it was like that allowance and that permission given to me to actually live the life that I know is possible. And
Wow.
it being an exploration, not like a conclusion and a definition, but every 10 seconds, like if right now, with the last 10 seconds of your life, what would you choose? And I play a lot with this, like with a lot of people, like when I go to a restaurant or a cafe or like any place and I'm ordering food or drinks or something, I'll always ask the person, like, so if today was the last day of your life, what would you order from this menu? Would you even? And it's amazing the things that pop, like because some of them like, I won't even eat here, and that gets them to question like what are they choosing and where they are at, like
Love that.
where would they like to go? Besides like giving me so much more awareness and information about what my body would like and them being a contribution to that. But it sort of creates this fun space. And what if that is what we could be with ourselves as well? This constant question of, okay, if this was the last 10 seconds of my life, what would I choose? You
Yeah.
know? What
Yeah.
would I be? What would I have? What would I ask for? Like, what is it that you would choose? And that's that goes beyond a right way of living with or a wrong way of living. It just goes beyond everything becoming a choice.
I see, this is actually what excites me. These kind of conversations, the ability to come together and to be like, extrapolate on the tools that are presented to you and to hear your take on them. Um, because question is something for me that really, it's a muscle that I'm still strengthening. And I didn't recognize just how much it wasn't a part of my world until access. It's almost like access is the permission to be like, well, what's actually fun for you? And what if you didn't have to play by the rules? And what if you were allowed to choose what worked for you? And like all of this stuff and that, like, it's funny because it's not until you get into these conversations where you're like, oh yeah, and that excites me, and that excites me. Like, yeah, I've trains left the station, but it's just that like that like
But that's true. That's true. Like I remember I had to do like I remember sitting on my office desk at one point when I was trying to do like business the right way, and like we'd reached a certain space like of the business growing and expanding. This is my first adult business, expanding and growing in a certain way, uh, and then we reaching a certain place, and we looked okay. Now we need to expand and we don't know what's next. So we must follow some ways that other people are doing. So I was trying to do it like really right. It was getting so boring, almost killed it. But one of the things I remember sitting on that desk and going, I had like a million things open on my computer, like a zillion things that were open. Uh, and then in the middle of it, I was picking up a call. And then I remember sitting there and just going into this like 30 minutes of like down the rabbit hole of judging myself and going, why can't I do it like everyone else? Like, why can't I just start or work on one presentation from start to end and finish it and, get done with it? And it was after doing my first foundation I realized, oh my goodness, that's not like right or wrong, but there's some sort of a capacity there where I can actually listen to the different pings and be willing to be present with a lot more things than just one thing, like focusing on one thing. And that's actually helped me in being able to actually add more things, add more businesses, add more creations, add more projects, add more people, add more possibilities, add more revenue streams to my life, and how much more and what else is possible. That excites me. That gets me going. That gets me waking up in the morning, like worth waking up in the morning and looking at all of those things uh, in a very different way from the space of what requires my attention. And we trying to do it in a certain way, give up on the ways that are so easy for us. And I love exploring that because every class like brings up what's that gift, what's that true, what's that difference that each one of us be that
mm,
together creates greater.
yes. Yes, amazing. Because something you pinged there with say, I was like, if we could see my laptop right now, you would see probably 15 plus tabs open. I feel like that's my head at all times. Like the browser has all these tabs open on it. And again, it was when you judge yourself from the space of comparison of other people doing this reality. I guess it's so easy to go to a wrongness of you. And that was really something, looking at it now through this conversation, of being like, well, yeah, it made, not that it needs to be justified, but it made it a lot of sense of my life choices. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I've never had one particular job for a long period of time. And the idea of like people having a long-term career in one field, that just was so foreign to me. Yeah, I judged, and I was judged against that, because it's like, oh, now you're working in this cafe and you're doing this job and you're taking on this extra job, you know, you're doing chalkboards and you're.
Why can't you just take on one job and stick to it, one career?
Exactly. And it's really, yeah, I guess that word permission comes up, where if you've always kind of been pigeonholed or tried to be fit into conforming in a certain way, all of a sudden this space opens up when you attend a class. And like we were saying before, it really, every single class is going to be so different. So, you know, one of the aspects that I love is like talking about the X-Men component, which is kind of that ability to look at your capacities from a whole new lens and perspective, and reframe everything and shuffle that mindset from, oh, this must be wrong, why can't I concentrate, how come I can't focus on this or complete one task, and all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, I can have 15 browser tabs and pick up a phone and like type something and eat a meal simultaneously, you know. And just yeah, it's like how much more would be, I don't know, like available to people if they just saw life for the fun of it. Like, what if, like, you know, I know that's one of the sayings that comes up time and around in Access, or one of the questions, like, what if the point of life was just to have fun? And what if going to these classes wasn't so much about a significance and looking at the wrongness of you, but it's going, oh, wow, like, what can I explore here today? What can leaf, like you said, what leaf can be turned over? Like, what else is available that's going to help me spring out of bed every morning, like wanting to take on life?
Yep. There was something over there that you said that I thought we could extrapolate on, but that's a building.
Yeah, well, I guess this is the other aspect of what's on offer from you at the moment too. So, for those that are joining us on this live presently, or you're viewing this in the future, at the start of January, Eena is facilitating the foundation class, which we've covered where this has worked for us. But for those that aren't as familiar, it's the 4 days. We're covering over 5 though, because we're doing it online. And we get to go through the amazing manual, which is updated every year, and go in depth wherever you want to take this with any of those areas that we've covered today, and beyond and beyond. And then in the afternoon, there's also energy pools. So do you want to speak a little bit about the energy pools as well that are available?
Yes. So we were looking at like what we want to create and what we could create, like especially with like New Year starting and everyone going into the what they have or haven't achieved and what they can and cannot achieve. And we were just looking at the energy of like, what is that? Like, what is that space of, like, one of the things that has been a huge gift for me using the Access tools or adding them to my life has been the willingness to really have more and more, like, that constant ask of what's true and and like, when we say like, what if life was a fun, it's not necessarily it's about headbanging in like, you know, getting drunk. And I thought that's what it was before I came to Access, that you always had to be like pumped and going. But it's really having that sense of joy no matter what you're being in that 10 seconds. Like, it could be whatever that is, like, and you're not functioning from the right and wrong, but from the question of what else is possible. And you have that allowance for whatever you're being, what can show up is so much greater. And that's what the play is. And the other part of it is like the sense of that peace and allowance the peace that comes from like allowing yourself to be the dreamer that you are. Like, we all have that sense of knowing something else is, like, how many of us, let me put it, like, have that sense of that something else should be possible. Like, I was talking to someone, and in one of the classes in How to Become Money workbook that we have on right now, that She was like, I want to just like be able to do nothing and just want to read books and relax and like in sort of have that sense of, being at a farm and with the nature and greens. And if you actually look at the energy of that, what's the underlying energy? That's how we think is we are going to find what we're having. But what she's actually asking for and what she actually knows is possible is the ease,
Yeah.
is the relaxation, it's the having, it's the receiving, it's the willingness for everything to contribute and give to you. There are all these energies that we are aware of, that we try to find the how and the doing of it. But when you actually allow it to actually have that, when you allow yourself to have that more and more, and there's so much more, so there's always more, it's infinite, yay. More and more, it can show up in a million zillion ways. It doesn't have to look like a certain way. And there, even in that one conversation, we could look at 20 things that she could come up with that could even also be a revenue stream. Like just reading books could be a revenue stream. But there's so many things that you could look at to actually really tap into what's true for you and then asking for that. So if you're asking for the ease and relaxation, could you have that where you are today and where you are now?
Mm.
Yes,
Oh,
it's possible. So we
amazing.
wanted to tap into like that energy pools and the flows and the contribution that's available for the dreamers of the world who know something else is possible, who are asking for it, might not know how. Well, let's get together, let's play, let's see what we can pull in and what energy flows we can be, to actually have that more and more available. That makes even the doing and the actions really easy.
And what a way to finish a day of, being in a class as well. If people, obviously, this can be chosen separate to the foundation. The energy pools for dreamers is an option for people if they just desire to have that and to explore that. And I love that we've called it flows too. Like when we had the conversation about finding what title matched the energy of what was available to us, and you were like, it's really that flow. It's really playing with all of the energies. It's the pulling in and, the flowing energy out, and that ask and receive simultaneously. So I
Yes.
think that's really nice to kind of underline that as well. But
And acknowledging that what you be is a gift.
that that right there, more of that, please, universe. Yes. So guys, the foundation begins, what are our dates, Eena? The 4th?
5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. It's available online and Greater Noida, where am I placed? In Greater Noida in India, in Delhi NCR. And you can, Rosie has shared the link. Thanks, Rosie. And you can, and for all those who join the foundation, the energy pools are a gift added on to the foundation class for everyone.
How did we get so lucky?
And how did we get so lucky? Yes, I'm excited. Um, Energy flows is also one of the key things that we do in foundation. Like it's one of the key tools, and it is a tool for creation. Far more like for all the people who are like shirking from doing or questioning their doing all the time, and know that there's a sense of being that's available. This is for you, and I'm excited. Where can we go? Yep.
100%. 100%. So guys, I am so
So
grateful to have this conversation. That link, wherever we
for
are,
energy pools,
for energy pools to come join, whether it's that or for joining. And there we go. We've obviously got the foundation link popped there as well. Thank you so much, Rosie, and thank you so much for this conversation. Clearly, what else is possible with inviting people to know that there is just so much joy, and it is just a choice away. And what can these tools continually facilitate in our lives when we choose to use them and implement and play with them? Like, what if there was no right, no wrong? We just played and could see what showed up for us.
yes, please. Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks, guys. Hopefully seeing you
Thanks,
soon.
everyone. Yes, please. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks,
Thanks.
Rosie. Thanks, Cindy.
Bye.
Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, everyone.